What's going on, YouTube? This is The Last Musketeer, and welcome to part 5 of the Arknights free-to-play Is It Worth It series. So first things first, I gotta talk about something. So normally these series end in 5 videos, the 5th video being the finale, but not the case with Arknights. There will be a video probably next week titled Finale, but it's only ending the series and not the content that I will be making for this game, because I want to do a lot of different pieces of content, but I also want to keep going with the progress video. So while it'll still be a lot like the videos are right now, it's more so I need to get my final thoughts on the game out, so when people see the finale, they can make their decision about whether they want to play the game or not. I know there are a lot of veteran players, a lot of people that have played it before that watch these videos, but for the people that have never played it, that are interested in watching this series and wondering whether or not it would be worth it for them to put in the time, you know, I need to get that out there. So when you do see finale, just know that it's not going to be the end of my content, but I figured I'd get that out of the way now, that way you know prior. But I'm going to go ahead and get into what I'm going to show in this video, and we're going to start out on Icefield Ex-6. So initially when I was doing this, I drew it out and kind of marked all the different possibilities that I had through this, and going back and looking at it now, I probably should have swapped the defense down to the freeze, because that's honestly one of the best options for this. I think overall there's uses for others, but as far as it goes, that freeze ability from the cart is extremely good, and I had for the most part underutilized it up until much later on, when I really 100% needed it to clear this piece of content that was just destroying me over and over. But as you can see here, I'm trying to set up like a stun trap. Now I do have Paradoxical Explosion for the extra damage, which I will use a little bit later, but I do really like this stun lane because I have the 3-second stun on. If I'd had the freeze mixed with it, I'm sure that it would have been absolutely nuts. I could have also used the push, because I think the push would have been really cool, and potentially could have set up some really cool combos with Paradoxical. But I put a lot of these pads, because they give you a ton in this map, back and forth. So it first goes up with Courier, goes to the right, then left, then right, then left, then from Beagle goes right again, and then that's when it'll go down, to the left, down, to the right, and then it will loop all the way back up to the explosion, which happens right on Perfumer's tile. So the really cool part about it is that I'm getting a lot of utility, a lot of stun. Now if I had done the freeze like I was talking about earlier, and potentially taken the Paradoxical off, even though it doesn't have all that crazy burst damage, there's potential that I keep them frozen and stun locked just long enough that I never have to worry about any of that. And as you can see here, I use Surtur for this, because these are not maps that I'm going to be auto farming, because they don't really give you anything. So you beat them once, you go for the challenge mode, and that's about it. That's about all you're going to do for these stages. So I just use Surtur to knock out 3 of those whiskey carts, because those things hit so incredibly hard. They've been the bane of my existence for a lot of my runs. But as you can see here, at one point it starts to move forward and then starts getting stuck in this stun loop. Now it does get to move slightly at points, but for the most part it is stuck. And I also throw Swire in there just to get a few cheap shots in before the round ends. But speaking of Swire, I want to make some Swire Knight videos pretty soon. I'm trying to figure out which stages I want to do and what ones to try. If y'all want to give me some suggestions at ones you might want to see me try to complete with Swire, let me know. I'm going to try to look at some different ones and kind of formulate there. Now we did hit level 40, which was a great milestone. Always happy to see that. The levels are going a little slower as time goes on now, because, well, I'm not purchasing extra energy with OP, so I'm just kind of coasting at this point, using my daily energy, coming back and using them a little more, trying out some other stuff while that's on cooldown. And the only reason I let that last clip in was because I pulled once on both banners, one for the free for the event, and the other one just because I'm trying to get lucky to get a 6-star on that banner, and I get Ambriel both times, which was really funny, so I figured I'd put that in there. And this clip is actually just a challenge run of Icefield Ex-1, just to show it off. Now, I hadn't done a lot of these challenge ones yet. I'm going to go back through as this week goes on and try to get more of them done, and that'll probably be in my next progress video, because this event is ending pretty soon. I'm going to be sad to see it go. I might try to get as many of the cart videos as I can, pick up as many strategies as I possibly could, because maybe there's people like me out there that have not completed every bit of this yet. The only difference with this challenge in particular is that more enemies spawn. So they put the surfer in here just so you can't have fun with any of the carts. Sad to see, but we do have paradoxical explosion, so he's going to be slowly whittled away, and anyone that stacks up in here is going to get taken out basically immediately by the explosion. But as far as strategy goes, I don't really change it from the original run of this. The challenge one only adds a few particular enemies, and it's really not that much different than what was initially. So I kind of stack them up the same way I would before, though I really should have planted Moose down on the surfer just so I can get him out of the way as quick as possible, because he's just really annoying and he's making this level take a little bit longer and be a little bit harder than it actually needs to be. Now, I may put out some videos later on. I still haven't decided. It's kind of hard right now because the other series are still going on, but I'd really like to put out some videos showing some more of these kind of runs, but I'll have to do it obviously before the event ends, or it's not even worth the time. But hopefully I can, because I know there are people out there, potentially maybe people watching, that are in the same boat I am, where I don't have many high-level units. I'm working with a very limited roster, so it'd be cool to put out more of the car runs so that you can basically get carried mainly by the car. Alright, with him finally out of the way, which should have happened sooner, I now put the other road tile there and one at the back of the stairs. When I did my initial clear of Icefield Ex-1, I did not notice that slot on the back side there that I could use to get some extra travel time with the cart. So now that I saw that, somebody pointed it out in the comments, I'm going to utilize that as much as possible here. And once again, the freeze. I cannot stress enough just how good the freeze is. So if you're playing these maps, you should definitely use that option. And also paradoxical explosion when they're stuck in place and grouped like that, super good. Now this one I left in because it was important for me to do this. I had Jaye pulled last video, I believe, and I really wanted to work him up. So for integrated strategies, this is right before that happened. When I did the stream on Tuesday, I ended up leveling up to E1 45, and then I maxed out his skills, because really he is just been insane ever since I started using him, because I didn't realize just how good that operator is. So Jaye has been pretty much a mainstay in everything that I do currently, and I appreciate you guys for pointing him out to me, showing just what he's capable of. Now, while we're speaking of integrated strategies, this was a run from Tuesday night after the stream. It's about 2 or probably 3 hours after. Now, I do have the full VOD of this, or the full video anyway. If people do want to see that, I'm not sure if you're tired of seeing the integrated strategies stuff, but this was my best run so far. So basically, I had been pretty lucky with some pulls. I got like 2 or 3 different free 6 stars from the vouchers, so it was going pretty well. So I decided I should probably at least throw the Floor 5 boss in here just so people can see, anyone that hasn't seen it before can experience in real time, like I did, just what a nightmare this stage really is, because I was not prepared whatsoever. I did not have any chance to strategize because I didn't know what was coming until this point. And you know, I see the dancer come out, I'm like, okay, well, at least I know the elemental damage is going to be in here. And the second one comes out and I'm like, okay, I should probably pause and kind of look where things are going. And then a third, and unfortunately doesn't in there. They just keep coming out. So at this point, I'm freaking out. I was not ready for this. I thought about dropping Cruz at the side and trying to tag him through there, but I figured they might be able to see me from that. So I put Cruz facing top, just a little extra damage for all the ones that run through this point. Now I'm using Flametail's ability to get some extra DP so we can place down as much as possible. Cruz and Blue Poison together with their extra damage has been very crucial to this run, but as you can see, the dancers are stacking up like crazy. At this point, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to beat this, because I don't know what else is coming. We got a big tanky boy walking out at the left side, and I've still yet to see the boss, so that's the part that worries me the most. The rest of this is very annoying, and while I probably could have put Orchid facing the right side to get some extra damage, I don't know how much of a difference it really would have made, so I just left her. Now Lapland, this was a bit of a misplay. I should have put her right there where I had her hovering. Instead, I put her right in front of Blue Poison, and I got her destroyed. So I do apologize. I am playing this in 1 times. I was really worried. I sped it up in slight parts when nothing was happening because I really wanted to just skip some of the downtime while doing it. But Colsteet is going to be placed so I can put Monster down. Now, Monster and Colsteet have been a really good thing for this run. I had really enjoyed them, and I don't know why I'm taking way too long to plant down Monster. I was just so worried that I was going to put the wrong spot and mess up my run, but instead I'm letting Lapland take the damage from this guy, and Lapland's going to go down because I don't get the Perfumer down in time. There was a huge misplay right there because I really could have used Lapland's help on this. Now, Gavial ult is absolutely fantastic, helps a ton, especially when her skill is active. I can really pop down these people as fast as I possibly can. And of course, Monster is really putting in a lot of work, but now I'm forced to use the ability early. All the dancers are coming. At this point, I'm thinking I don't know where to go from here. And not to mention the boss finally comes out, and things are looking grim, but you know, there's a silver lining in there, and the fact that this is a learning experience, that this is something that I enjoyed, even though I'm at the brink of losing this and losing this run. I didn't mind it. It wasn't frustrating. It was a love for the game that I don't often get to experience. And don't get me wrong, there are plenty of gotchas that I've played that I've enjoyed, but none to this level. None have given me the experience that I've had while I'm playing this. And you know, it's not just the game itself, it's the community. This has, to me, in my experience, this has been probably one of the greatest communities I've ever been a part of, and I absolutely love it. And I thank you guys so much for all the support, all the views, everything that you give me, all the advice, going out of your way to help me out. I do appreciate that, because, and of course, the music in the background sounds a little more somber, a little more sad, but that was pure coincidence that it switched over right when things were going bad. That was kind of funny. So when I first wanted to start a YouTube channel, you know, it was probably a long time ago, but when I finally had the option to, when I had a computer that could handle doing it, when I worked up, saved up, it still took me like 1.5 to 2 years to actually do it. I was excited about trying it and going through that experience. I couldn't get myself to, because my anxiety, ever since I was a little kid even, has been so bad that it's been holding me back through my life. I find it really hard to interact. I'm so awkward in general, I guess, and I know some of you probably experience the same things as me, but I just want to say personally thank you, because this whole experience for me has been life-changing. I have to say that I'm feeling a lot more confident, especially going into these streams. You know, the first stream I did, I was so nervous that I just felt like my mouth was dry constantly. I was shaking a lot of the time. I was just nervous. And I tried to interact and be as professional as possible. I'm just not great at it yet. And hopefully you are enjoying the streams. And speaking of the streams, the integrated strategies, I would like to do something in the future where you guys pick the heroes that I get from the vouchers. You pick what operators you want me to use, and I have to use them solely based on what you guys pick, because I think that would be a really cool challenge run. And though I will not be any good at it, I think it'd still be a really cool idea. So if you want to see that, let me know. But once again, guys, thank you so much. And we're going to end this video with a Longmen Outskirts full clear. If you remember from my last video, I got to 375 milestone, and a lot of them slipped through. I ended up losing, but this time we finally got it. I used somebody's thorns from the support system to do it, because I thought he would be the best option for full clearing it. I tried it with my own and kept getting to nearly a full completion, but I'd miss one or two, and after doing it like 4 times in a row, I was just like, you know what, we're gonna just full clear it for the milestone points. I can worry about doing it with my own later on. One cool thing though, Gabriel the Invincible with her S2 can pull things into holes, and some people probably already knew that, some of you might not have, so I thought I'd mention. I was going to make a video showing it off on some of the maps that I found, but I'm having a hard time finding some of them. I first discovered it on here, or first tested it out anyway, by putting her in the hole, or below the hole that Cruz is facing currently, so she'll face up towards the hole, and when her ability is active, she can pull anything down the slot above the hole, so they'll go straight into it every time, because it pulls to the middle, exactly where that hole is. A really, really cool mechanic, especially on ones where, if you picture it like it's a walkway from where Cruz is standing up, and then it goes to a 90-degree angle to where Gabriel's standing, anything like that, as they're walking down towards Gabriel, she can pull them into a hole or an edge like that as well. So there's plenty of options that you can have for trying that out, but I'm just having a hard time finding the right map to showcase something like that. So if you guys have any ideas, also, I don't know if there is, but if there's any type of like support hero that maybe has some like black hole type ability where they can pull closer to them. I'm not talking about shift, I'm talking just in like an AoE sense where they'll pull to a certain tile. If there's one like that, if you guys let me know, that'd be great, because I really want to try something out with Gabriel. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end the first part of the video here. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.